And I think we are officially live. Another episode of Shut Up and Invest, live from Miami. This time around, we got a bunch of Florida boys in the house. And we're going to be talking about the money. How do I get the money for my real estate deals? And we have the pleasure of bringing in the man, the myth, the Jedi when it comes to raising capital, Mr. Dave. Dave, what's going on, boss?
What's up, buddy?
I'm glad you took time in your busy schedule to christen us with some private money Jedi skills. I appreciate that.
always, guys. No,
And then, of course,
any chance if Jory says, be there, I'm there.
Oh, Dave. I got that power. All right, I got you.
Absolutely. It's funny. I'm seeing the pictures right there in Miami Beach. The buildings there.
Yeah.
We actually, I grew up in Miami Beach.
Yeah, as I say, Dave, tell them your story real quick, Dave, because I don't think many people know. Dave lives in West Palm Beach right now, but he's actually a Miami Beach high boy.
Yeah, I'm a high. Yep, I was in the only high school rock and roll class in the country. You've seen that show School of Rock?
Yeah.
Loosely based on our class. Okay, we weren't elementary school kids or anything like that, but that's actually, we were on MTV, CNN, a few other things like that. Miami's home. Ives Dairy Road. I lived over on Ives Dairy. Before that, I lived in South Beach. I came to Florida to play tennis. That I was actually on the USTA. That was many, many pounds ago. Now I look like the Unabomber. I don't know what's going on here.
Dave was Andre Agassi before Agassi.
A little shorter, a little maybe closer to Michael Chang.
Did you play over there at a Flamingo Park?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So you play music and you play tennis?
Yes. Music, tennis, and now contracts.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you feel the discipline it took in your musical career when you were young and in your tennis career, it's transitioned over into what we're doing today?
I'd love to tell you yes, but that would actually say that I'm disciplined. So that's the only problem with that. If there was truth in advertising, our bandit signs would say, "We'll buy houses for food."
This is true.
Yeah. Dave, let me know, how did you actually get? I mean, because you were in tennis, you were in the first Jack Black School of Rock class. How did you get into real estate? Like, what got you down that path?
So actually, what got me down that path was late night television. That's the truth of it. Late night television. Apparently, everything sounds amazing at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm not even allowed to have a credit card after midnight anymore. After an unfortunate incident with the Germ Terminator, I'm not allowed to have a credit card after midnight. But everything sounds amazing at 3 o'clock in the morning. And there was this guy, and I got one of those stories that's kind of actually built for late night infomercials. When I first started, it was 5 adults, 3 dogs living in a motel room. And it's actually funny because just maybe 20 minutes before our call, I got a message from one of my Facebook friends, and I'll explain it in just a second. But in the hotel, and there's a whole long story to that too. But in the hotel, it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and all of a sudden this guy comes on TV, and he says, "You too can be a real estate millionaire with no money down." Okay. And I don't know if it was the 3 o'clock connection or the message just resonated, but you know what? I was like, I want to be a real estate millionaire and I have no money to put down. So this is perfect. And the guy's name was Carlton Sheets. Carlton Sheets. And what I was just saying, I was just messaging back and forth with Miss Cynthia Sheets, which is Carlton's daughter.
Wow.
And I found out that at the beginning of this year, Carlton passed away. You know, and so I reached out to her, and we've become friends. And that is just such an awesome thing. In fact, she was just asking me for some real estate advice.
So she's coming to you now.
I mean, talk about turnaround, because so going back to the hotel, so back in those days, that's back in '98. You know, they didn't have PayPal and all that stuff, or Venmo or Cash App or any of the cool ways to pay by card or Apple Pay or anything like that. They had check by phone. Okay. And so I went ahead and I ordered at 3 o'clock in the morning, I ordered that course, and we were so hand to mouth, the check actually bounced.
Ouch.
But the course came anyways. I don't understand. I mean, talk about, you know, divine providence, because the course came anyways. I called them back. I tried to make it right with them. They couldn't even find me in the system. You know, I have no idea. So 20 years plus later, and over 2,000 deals, millions of dollars made, and so on and so forth, I still owe Carlton $200. And so now I'm making it up to Miss Sheets.
Wow. We lost a couple of big time real estate pioneers. We lost Jimmy Napier this year too.
Yeah, I know it.
I actually just got his book. I ordered his book. It came like 2 weeks ago, Invest in Debt. So two of the pioneers.
I was like geeking out while I was when I saw you post that up there.
Yeah.
Hey, to get people really hooked on today's show, give them an example of the type of power that what we've been talking about for the last few weeks together. What's the most money or the biggest deal or the most lucrative opportunity you've created in your career by being able to learn this skill about raising private money and being able to do deals this way?
Oh, good God. You know what? Right now, we have on the market a house in Orlando. I know you guys have seen the house, but we've got it on the market. It's literally a mega mansion, and we picked it up for pennies on the dollar. Literally, we bought half of it. So it's on the market right now for 1.95. And it's a tiny little house, just under 20,000 square feet under roof, and a much smaller mother-in-law quarters, only 2,500 for the mother-in-law quarters. You know, all the bells and whistles for a mega mansion. You take the elevator up to the second floor to go to the gym, the safe room, the movie theater, all that stuff. We bought half the house for $150,000.
Wait a minute, half of the property.
Half of the property, and then we bought the other half, actually. But we already made our profit on that first half. And so, I mean, how many people buy half a house? Well, I'll tell you what, if you buy half a house, you can make all of the profit.
So we won't go too deep in that.
Yeah,
because, but I mean, just kind of give an overview of how you can purchase half of a property, because I'm sure people right now are half a house. How's that possible?
Half a house. There are times when there are more than one owner. That's one option, where there's more than one owner that owns the property. Okay, this happens a lot of times in airships. This happens in divorce cases. This happens in all sorts of opportunities where they want out, but the other person doesn't. Well, guess what? You can buy that one person out. And that gives you a leg up over so many people, because who buys half a house? You know? And so, but if you buy it right, that could be where you made all your profit.
Yeah.
You know? You could literally pay retail for the other half, and you still bought it for 51% or 55% or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's so many cool ways you can deal with that.
And that's why I love real estate, man. That's why we love creative financing, because I always say it's true. It truly is an art, right? There's so many different things you can do in real estate. There is no like cookie cutter box of you have to do it this way, you know. And Dave actually broke that deal down in detail on Friday in our last mastermind group that we did, the Raising Private Money group, and it was pretty insane to see exactly how he did that and the return he got on that property.
Well, we also talked about how we took 10,000, turned it into $1 million. We talked about buying a house for $1,000 and turn around selling it for 224.
Yep, he mentioned that one.
We know about the Tampa 3. Where we literally bought a house on the phone, Zoom call with our students for $3,000. That looks like we're going to get at least 150 to 175 for it. But there's so many ways you can go with that. But all of those, one of the key components, and that's what I really love about this private money aspect of it, is if you have access, and I don't actually call it private money, I call it relationship backers.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it's all about the relationship. And if you can actually work it out where you have these backers that are willing to back you to make these creative deals work. Creative investing and private or relationship backers is a match made in heaven. It's a 1-2 punch that you just can't beat.
It definitely is. It definitely is.
And I think what a lot of people focus on is trying to get the money, and they don't realize that a lot of the times if the opportunity, for example, if you're buying a house for $1,000, it really isn't that hard to tap into one of your relationships to be able to partner them and do this deal together when the opportunities and the numbers make sense.
Oh, absolutely. And again, there's ways that you can structure your deals. One of my favorite deals, we bought a mobile home park in Lubbock, Texas. We walked away buying it with $250,000 tax-free when we bought it.
When you bought it, you made that.
Yes.
Purchase, yeah.
Exactly. There's so many ways when you include creative financing and relationship backers.
Yeah, and I agree with Kevin. What Kevin said is so true. I just got the phone today with one of my partners in Michigan who had a meeting with one of our private, relationship backers, and it's all about what we're doing, right? The strategy of what we're doing with the properties is what intrigues them to want to invest the money. So I think, like you said, get a good strategy, get a good, good module of what you're doing with the funds, and the money is the easiest part to find, right? As soon as you talk to them and show them what you're doing and how it's backed and what kind of return they can get.
Absolutely. One of the things, and I do want to make this point for your group, because I know this is going to be something that people are going to want to understand, especially when it comes to real estate. I do say, most people say if the deal is good, the money will come. Mm-hmm. Okay. I say if the money is good, the deal will come. Mm-hmm. Okay. Most people, you need balance in this business, and most people don't actually realize it till it's too late. Okay. Yeah. If I were to come into a partnership, let's say on a real estate, in a real estate partnership, where you're going to invest and such, I would want to control the money, not the deals. Mm-hmm. Deals come and go. Those relationships, that's your life's blood. That's what's going to, you could start over and over. You could do whatever. If, God forbid, that partnership didn't end up lasting, whoever's got the money is going to be in the driver's seat.
True.
100%. Now, Dave, you talk about it all the time. The two things that people care about when you're approaching them to build that relationship and being able to see if they're going to back you with the money. So for our viewers out there watching the show, when they're approaching friends and family, or they're approaching that person that they know could potentially be a good relationship for their investing career, what are the two things that they should understand that people care about when it comes to investing money in a deal?
You've definitely listened to me when I've talked before. I say there are two questions every investor, and frankly, it's not just private lenders and relationship backers. It's Bank of America. It's your buyer. It's your seller. Frankly, it's me buying that germ terminator. Everyone, before they invest in you and in your business, they ask two questions. And it boils down, if you adequately answer these two questions to their satisfaction, and notice I said to their satisfaction, not to yours, but to their satisfaction. If you answer these two questions to their satisfaction, they will always 100% fund your deal. They'll always buy your property. They'll always sell you their property. They'll always get that germ terminator. Okay? On the other hand, if they didn't fund your deal, buy your property, sell you their property, look at these two questions. This is where you blew it. Okay? It's the difference on everything. So here we go. Drum roll, please. Number one, what's my security? What's my security? If when the bank is, when the private lender is asking you, how much skin in the game do you have? What's your history and background? How long have you done this? How many deals have you done? When Bank of America asks you for the 1003 bank statements, down payment, check what's in your tax returns, what are they asking? What's my security? How am I going to not lose my money doing a deal with you?
Yeah. Okay.
And whereas with a bank, they've got a decent amount of money. They've got it's not personal. Okay. With a bank, if a bank lends you their money and you go belly up, you stop making the payments, what happens? They'll foreclose on you. Sure. They'll even maybe sue you. They may even go after you financially and collect on a judgment or something. But it's not personal. They don't know you from Adam. On the other hand, your relationship backer, your private money lender, who work their entire life to build up their reserve to be able to invest, and they go ahead and take a leap of faith and you don't do your part for them, you think they'll take it personally?
Definitely.
Absolutely. Okay. So they're asking, oh, so important, what is my security? How am I not going to lose my money with you? Okay. And if you can get past that, the second question is actually pretty simple. What's my return? Okay. I'm not doing it for nothing. What is it going to be for me? And if you can answer the first question, the second one is negotiable. The second one is actually a very easy one to answer. You just have to find out what their hot buttons are and what numbers actually work for them, what kind of return, and that'll do it.
Got it. What would you say? Of course, we have a lot of new investors who that security question is more of a what's your track record question, right? Correct? Like, what is your track record?
Let's talk about this. Let's talk about it. So John Q. Moneybags is sitting there in front of you, and they've got a lot of money. And I know you know the answer to this because we've gone through this. We've talked about this in depth. But if the average person is asked this question, what's my security? What's their answer? Usually it's going to be, it's the mortgage in first position at 60, 70% LTV. That's what their answer is, right?
It's the house that you're lending on. Yep.
Exactly. It's the house and all that. And that's a great answer. That's what 99% of the people answer, and it's 100% wrong. The property is the collateral.
Mm-hmm.
The security is you. Okay? If they like you, if they trust you, if they believe in you, now the deal's already done. Now all you got to do is keep your word. On the other hand, if they don't like you, they don't trust you, they don't believe in you, you could give them the Tampa 3 and say, you know what, this property's worth $150,000. All I need is $5,000 from you. They're not going to do it because they don't trust you. They don't like you. They don't trust you. They don't believe in you. It ain't happening. So where most people blow it is they're so busy pitching the deal, they should be pitching themselves.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if you're new, then you should partner with someone who has that track record to help you out, right? You need to bring on somebody to partner with you so you can say, hey, look, I'm newer to the game, but my partner here, he's been doing this for, like, if you're Dave, 20, 25 years, he's been doing these kind of deals. He knows how to do this. Partner with someone who has the track record and you have the deal.
That's what we call borrowing someone's credibility.
Exactly.
Absolutely. If you are part of the team, you get to feed off of the credibility of the entire team, not just yourself. You may have never done a deal, but if you're partnering, with these guys, you can actually say, we got a team that's got experience. How many years have you guys been doing it?
14.
You're gonna date me? Nah, more than 2020. Yeah, about
14,
almost 20 years.
Almost 20, 14. So you got 34 years combined experience. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And by the way, that's the magical piece. You don't just say, an average of 20 years. You combine them.
Yeah.
Okay? and so there's over 34 years of combined experience on our team. And you can do that. And it ends up, it's not faking it while you make it. You're partnering with someone. That's why I fully believe in mentorship. I think every level I have ever gone up in life or in business I can absolutely attribute it to a relationship and a mentorship that I've been a part of.
Yeah, 100%. And it doesn't matter where. For example, I've never done a mobile home park deal. If it comes across my desk, the first thing that I'm doing is going in my network, calling Dave, calling a couple of other people that I know have done that type of deal. And I'm basically saying, hey, I got a deal. Let's walk me through this and let's do this deal together instead of taking the greedy approach.
Definitely. I called Dave today. We talked this morning. I said, Dave, I'm looking for a property in the Keys. I know Dave's Florida arms stretch wide and long. So I said, hey, Dave, help me out. You done a deal down there before? You know any contacts down there? We talked this morning about that. So, we are partnering and reaching out to other people every single day.
Absolutely.
And relationships. That's why I love the name of the group and the mastermind is Raising Relationship Money. I just love how it's all about relationships. Relationships is the key to everything.
It's all about relationships. This is a people business. Okay. Real estate and private money just happens to be the vehicle. Mm-hmm. But this is a people business.
Dave, a lot of people, when they approach and they're trying to build that relationship, they feel the ace in their deck is offering right away 50% of whatever the profit and whatever the gains are and whatnot. From your experience of doing so many deals and raising so much money, how many times do you feel you actually have to give up 50% of the deal to be able to raise that capital?
It depends on the situation. Okay. And that's honestly, I don't limit myself. There's sometimes I still do that. I have no problem so that I don't have to worry about the debt scenario. I'll bring in a money partner. That's fine. Sometimes that's exactly what it calls for. But when we're talking about, and that's another thing about this business and about what we do in raising relationship money and relationship backing, it's not just a one-size-fits-all situation. Sometimes it's a first mortgage in first position. Sometimes it's down payment money. Sometimes it is a second position. Sometimes it's partnership. Sometimes, I mean, there's so many ways. Sometimes it's a guaranteed buyer in the back. All of this can be considered relationship backing and money backing in that aspect. So when it comes to this business, and Jory, you actually touched on this a little bit earlier when you were saying there's so many ways to do this business. There's only two things that limit you when it comes to contracts, when it comes to real estate, and especially when it comes to relationship money. There's only two things. Number one, it's got to be legal, ethical, and a win-win situation. And number two, your imagination. That's it. Those are the only things. If you can imagine it and it's legal, ethical, and a win-win, by all means, you can make it happen.
Around how many times you would say a year, after so many years, do you sit there looking for the new relationship? Is it 24/7? You're always looking at the opportunities for the right people, or are you have a different strategy when it comes to building these relationships?
See, and here, that's a great question. That is a phenomenal question. And I think that you should be spending just as much time raising backers and raising capital as you do raising deals. Okay, if you're marketing for deals, why aren't you marketing for money? Okay, why aren't you going after and dealing with the situation? And of course, one of the ways that we do our business, we don't market per se when it comes to deals. We find all our deals in public records, as you know. But we also do the same thing for money. We find these private lenders. Yesterday, I actually had another first contact with a backer, a future relationship backer. We spent over 45 minutes talking, and I was explaining from, hi, my name's David, to now he's asking for my contact. He's asking me for advice on some of these, on some of his vehicles, on how he lends and how he does that. And it all started from that contact. And I made a point to actually make calls yesterday. I'm going to be making calls not for deals today. I'm going to be making calls for money. And I think that's one thing most people mistake. They just sit on their, oh, I got $1 million backing. Oh, I got $5 million backing me. I'm okay. What happens if one of these backers passes away? What happens if they decided one of our mutual associates was telling in the group? Steve actually was mentioning he had one of the absolute best private lenders that was just one of his absolute best, and he didn't ever have to worry about money. All of a sudden, this COVID situation happens, and the backer says, "You know what? I need to hold back. I don't know if we need to lend anymore." That put a huge damper on what he was doing at that moment. Thankfully, funny enough, within 15 minutes, we had found over 18 lenders in his market. It's crazy, but we literally found over 18 in under 15, 20 minutes.
I say you can never have too many backers, right? You can never have too many.
Never.
And you're adding it to your daily activities of prospecting, where 99% of us in the real estate investing game are looking for the deal. You're actually splitting your time between looking for deals and looking for backers. That's the key takeaway.
And if anything, I'll let somebody else work the deal aspects. You got your acquisition manager, you got your VA, you got the people that are working on it. Go ahead. Work the deals. When you got the deal ready, you need me to close, I'm fine with that. But But that relationship backer and that private lender, I want them to think of me when they've got a deal, when they got $100,000 burning a hole in their bank account. I want them to think of me.
Yeah, and that's so key. I mean, I think everyone who's in this business right now, if you're not the guy raising the money out there talking to the backers, you should find someone who you can partner with or who's on your team that's what they do. Like you need a full-time person who's out there raising relationship money, you know, talking to people, explaining what you guys are doing, you know, and that's their job. I think that's key, especially nowadays. That's key.
And if anything, I'll be completely honest. I'm going to take what you said one step further. And I say, if there's anything that deserves your personal attention, that would be the one thing. I mean, you can break down and do the scraping and doing the marketing, but the actual relationship building, it should be your face.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, Dave, you previewed a little bit and you mentioned that you find deals and the relationships through public records.
Absolutely.
A brief overview for people that might have heard that and they say, well, I don't understand that. How can you find deals and money on public records? What's a Cliff Notes version of how you do what you do?
I like that Cliff Notes because I do tend to ramble. So public records is literally a business in a box. Okay. It's true. I mean, if you know how to actually take public records and dig through and find what you're looking for, if you know how to travel through public records, you can find all the deals you want, all the buyers you want, even all the money to put it all together. Everything to do with your business, you can find in public records. Okay. Every one of these major issues that the list brokers are providing you, what are they providing you? Notice of defaults, pre-foreclosures, probates, elderly, high equity, absentee. Guess where they're getting all of this from? They're getting it from public records.
Yes.
That's where they're getting it. Which would be better? Get it from them 3 steps out or straight from the source, the counties or the state or the city, the municipality? I say it's fresh, it's straight off the tree.
Yeah.
So that's the deal side. Buyers. One of the cool things about public records don't lie. Okay. The only reason, I mean, how many of us have put the deal out there and put it on Facebook Marketplace, put it on Craigslist, put it on Zillow. We got calls coming, I mean, just all over the place. And most of them, tire kickers, right? But the only reason that these buyers will show up in public records is if they pulled the trigger. They actually closed on the deal. That's the only reason they'll show up. When I find one of those sweetheart deals, Tampa 3, first thing I do, I go and find the investor buyers within a half-mile radius of that property, and I call them. Hey, I noticed you got a house over on 123 ABC Street. I got the place over at 234. I noticed you got yours for $100,000. Mine's right around there too. You interested? Boom. I have sold more. I create reverse buyers lists for my deal. What do we have? We have 10,000 people on a buyers list. We're still selling to the same 50 people over and over.
Yeah, we always say that. Yep. It's a small portion.
So what if you just found the right buyer and skip all the noise? Okay. And then the last thing is the money. On the money, if you're Bank of America, if you're a private lender, if you do a loan, you're going to want to put a mortgage on it. Guess what? That's public records. We can literally find everything we need for our business in public records. And that's what we teach in our mentorship.
Now, Dave, once you get this information off public records, and you get the contact information using skip tracing and whatnot to reach out to these people. I think there's a lot of, especially new people in the industry, they get the call reluctance, like, oh, what am I really gonna say? How do I even just cold call these people out of the blue? And did you in the beginning suffer from this, or were you naturally someone that just didn't care and made these phone calls? Is there a mindset trick that you do when you're cold calling and reaching out to people?
You know what? I don't care how good you are. The first call every day, that phone feels like it's 300 pounds. Okay,
that's the truth.
It's the truth. I don't care how long you've been doing this. I don't care how good you are at doing this. You could be Steve Trang, the closing ninja. You could be, I mean, you could be whoever, and you're still that first call. That phone feels like it's 100 pounds, 300 pounds, but you just have to know, number one, the mindset. You have to realize you're providing a service. What are we as real estate investors? What are we as real estate, as investors? We're professional problem solvers.
Definitely.
Okay. Same thing applies to the money. They have a problem. They've got to get a return on this money. And it's not doing them any good if it's just in their bank account. And right now, with all the stuff that's been going on, with all the volatility in the stock market, it's crazy. We have had some of the biggest banner quarters for self-directed IRA companies rolling over their money from Wall Street to Main Street. Yeah. Okay, there's so much going on. It's such a powerful time right now, and you are providing a service. I don't actually tell people that I'm a real estate investor. If I'm raising money, and I'll give you this one nugget for when you are actually talking to individuals that are potential relationship backers. Mm-hmm. When they ask you, what do you do? What do most people say? I know you know the answers here, Jory, because but most people, what do most people? I'm a real estate investor
looking to purchase a house in the neighborhood, Yeah.
Exactly. Well, the problem with that is when someone asks you, what do you do? Okay, what they're really asking you is, what can you do for them? Okay. When you're at a Chamber of Commerce meeting and they're coming up to you, or you're at a RIA meeting and they come up to you, what do you do? Oh, I'm a real estate investor. Oh, that's nice. I hear someone calling me over here.
Yeah.
Okay. So when that happens, it's just, what you actually do is you provide a service. So what do I say when they say, what do you do? Well, I help business owners, licensed professionals, and real estate professionals like yourself take control of their retirements by showing them how to invest in quality real estate, in mortgages backed by quality real estate, and showing them how to earn returns on their money safely and consistently.
Awesome. You kind of touched on one thing I was going to say is some people might say, hey, well, we're in the middle of the COVID pandemic. There's all this going on. There's not, who's going to give me money right now, right? And me, like you, we've had some of the biggest months during this whole thing. But you've actually been through many, let's say, market cycles, ups and downs, right? And is there any difference? Is there any time where it's easier to raise money or harder to raise money, depending on what the actual, economic or real estate market is doing at that time?
So, the first, we've been through two of the market cycles. We were, of course, in 07 and 08 and back in 2001 during the dot-com bubble as well. Mm-hmm. The first time, and this is the cool thing, the first time there was two parts to it. Number one, we were too dumb to realize we were in trouble. And we had a backer that was our mentor, my mentor, and he was my backer during that time. Walter Riddle, you've heard me talk about him numerous times. He passed away a few years ago, but I now actually get to mentor his son, so I get to give back. That's such a cool thing. But Walter was my backer during that time, and as a result, I didn't have to worry about money. The deals get better during a down cycle.
Yes, 100%.
Okay. The deals get better. What's the saying in the economy? When there's blood on the street, buy real estate. Okay?
Yep.
Or the old
Warren Buffett.
The Warren Buffett statement. Yeah, be greedy when everyone's frightened. Yeah, and when everyone's scared, you be greedy. In other words, when everybody's selling, you buy. So the idea behind that is the deals in 2008, which I'm the first one to tell you, I got caught with my pants down just like so many other people out there, and such. But the deals got better. I mean, it was crazy. We bought quadruplexes when we learned the concept of finding these backers, especially through public records. There were quadruplexes that had sold for $300,000-$400,000. We picked up off the MLS for $75,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Just ridiculous buys that are there because you actually have the money to be able to take advantage of the opportunity. And so, number one, you want to do it while the getting's good. Now, when the market changes, of course, there's going to be fear, okay? And that includes these backers. But that's where you've got to show them. You got to say, look, and one of my favorite ways to handle objections, because of course that is going to be an objection. I'd be lying if I said it didn't come up, okay? But the best way to overcome an objection is to agree with them, okay? And get on their side, look at it from their point of view. And you know what? When you see it from their side and you're on their side, you can steer much easier, okay? And I do this in buying, I do this in selling, I do this in raising the capital. So they say, you know what? I'm just nervous about this market. I don't know if I want to lend in this market. I say, you know what? I agree with you. I understand this is a completely unique time, and there is a lot of volatility. But with that volatility is coming some great opportunities, and we're getting deals that we couldn't have gotten, just a few months ago.
Yeah, definitely.
And see, now you're able to steer them to point in the direction. You're not lending based on this market condition that you were already doing. You're going to be lending down here. So it's actually still, if anything, it's more protection for you. And when you take that approach, you can definitely provide here's what's my security is.
Just
agree.
That in itself, that's a golden nugget big time, because what people don't understand is if you respond the opposite of them right away, you're creating, I don't know if I agree with you, because we're doing a bunch of deals right off the jump. You're telling me I'm wrong, and you're reaching out to me trying to build a relationship. And if right off the jump you're trying to convince me that I'm wrong and you're right, it's a much different energy between us on that conversation versus the approach you just described.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you're saying the same thing, Kevin. You're just saying it in a different way, right? You worded it differently, right? That's that how to win friends and influence people, right? That's what the Dale Carnegie taught, right? You agree with them. You say the same exact statement. We're still buying a bunch of deals, but we agree with you that the market is a little difficult, but we're still going to buy a bunch of deals at cheaper prices. So it's all how you frame things with people.
It's all about framing. Exactly.
100%. Dave, we know that there's more training to be done later on today, and we don't want to take up too much of your time. If you were starting from scratch and you were back at zero, if you were right now saying it's 3:00 in the morning and I need to get something going, what would you do starting from scratch right now? And let's leave the people with that.
Oh boy. So number one, I'm going back to those public records, and I'm looking for someone that can back me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because you know what? That's an awesome question. That's an awesome thought process behind it, because there's one thing they can't take away from me, and that's my problem solving skills. And no matter how bad it could get, there's always a way around it, and there's always a solution. And so the first thing I would do is I would actually start looking for a relationship that I could find that would be willing to get them to like me and trust me and then believe in me. If I can get that, I can conquer the world. Okay. So first I would do that. Second, I'd actually go into the public records, and I'd look for problems that I could solve. What kind of problems are there? I'd look at delinquent taxes. I'd look at code enforcement. I'd look at evictions, foreclosures. I'd look for problems. Okay. And I'd be able to find someone that I'd be able to help. And with that assistance of that backer, I'd be able to get a deal going right away.
Got it. So it all starts with public records, right? Find the money to find the problem.
It starts with people. Exactly.
And Dave, how much does it cost to search public records?
Honestly, in most cases, it's free.
Yeah.
In most cases, absolutely. It just takes a little bit of sweat equity. It just takes a little bit of pushing. You know, you take the action.
I love it. Dave, how can people find you if they want to connect with you, if they want to have a relationship and be blessed like we are to have you in our world? How can people find you?
So number one, I am on Facebook. All you got to do is find these two young gentlemen here, and I'm on their friends list, I'm sure. But yes, you could definitely find me here on Facebook, Dave Day. You can also, we have the mentorship. I'm sure, Jory, you've got a link to our mentorship. We're going strong, and I got to tell you, it's one of the best. It's one of my favorite things that I do. I look forward, as we call it, Friday, spelled DEY at the end. We're always looking forward to Friday.
We are.
You know, and we've added days on there. We got Wednesday, still spelled the right way. Thursday, work day. We're taking over the calendar, okay? Bottom line, but hey, the more the merrier. This is all part of where we're going to it, and it's a mentorship, but it acts like a mastermind, and we're helping each other in there. You should see Jory, tell them about it. You know what's going on.
Oh yeah, no, we're in there. Thankfully, Steve Trang started with Dave, and Steve reached out to me and Kevin, so we joined it. And I've been on there one day going over calls and stuff that I do. Steve has been on there. You've had other guys come in there, that are doing deals, helping out other people who are kind of new, and it's kind of like we're all helping each other. We have accountability partners right now that we're kind of helping out to get through some deals. So it's definitely more of a family type mastermind than it is an actual mentorship. And we're all just kind of, Dave's the sensei, and we're just kind of following his lead. We're all throwing in our little nuggets and stuff that we do every day.
Yeah. Mo, you see Mo on there. He says no scarcity, and I agree with that. That's
Chris is on there too. Chris is in the group. Chris and Mo are in the group.
I love it.
So for any of you that are listening, if you want to join us in this mastermind, find this YouTube. We're going to go ahead and post the link in the description. You'll see it on the YouTube video, which will be live. I think YouTube takes like 24 hours to process this after the live. So we will have it in there. You guys can find it. You can reach directly to us in our DMs on our website. And if you can't find Dave on Facebook for whatever reason, reach out to us and we'll be happy to introduce you. J Money, you got any last words to let everybody know?
to thank Dave for taking some time out to come on and join us. Dave is really a walking wealth of knowledge, man. Like, he's helped me out through a couple deals already, so it was definitely worth, the money and time to join the group just for his kind of insight. And he's always someone that's like, he's always there, right? Like, he's not too big to talk to. We text throughout the day. He'll hit me with some rapid fire texts out of the blue, like 15 texts in a row to catch my attention. But I mean, me and Kevin, we've been saying creative financing plus private money equals success, especially in this market that we're in now in the future, right? So, we're going to keep trying to give you guys, different people who are doing that and kind of give you more insight and tips on how you can go out there and do both.
Very cool.
Dave, I appreciate you guys. As always, shut up and invest.
Kevin, Jory, thank you so much, guys.
All right, Dave.